Honorable members, you will recollect that during the intercession period, some of our honorable members had passed away. They are Shri Kakiho Sukalu, Shri C. Noklem Konyak, Dr. T. Mingtongo Lota, Reverend Lusuhe Masi, and Engineer Sualamba. I shall now pay my obituary references to each of the departed leaders. Late Shri Kakiho Sukalu. Shri Kakiho Sukalu, a former member of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, passed away on 21st of February 2020 in Dimapur after a prolonged illness. Late Kakiho, son of late Kahoto Sukalu of Kahoto village, Zonopoto district, was born on 17th of July 1957. He received his early education from Mount Hermon School in Darjeeling from 1963 to 1969. He completed his matriculation from the Government High School, Zonopoto, in 1974 and did his bachelor's in commerce from the Shillong College, Shillong. Late Kakiho was a dynamic student leader who served as the General Secretary of the Zonopoto Range Students' Union in 1974 and as the Finance Secretary of the Sumi Students' Union Shillong from 1976 to 1977. He later served as the President of the Business Association Zonopoto from 1980 to 1982 and as the Joint Secretary of the Government Contractors Association Zonopoto District from 1982 to 1983. He was also the President of the Zonopoto Cricket Association from 1986 to 1989. President of the Zonopoto Area Sports Association from 1988 to 1990. Secretary of the Sumi Games and Sports Association from 1992 to 1996, and as the President of the BTP Secretaries Association, Zonopoto District from 1995 to 1997. Late Kakiho entered politics in 1980 by joining the Indian National Congress I. Soon after, he served as Vice President of the DYC Zonopoto in 1981 and as the President of the DYC Zonopoto from 1982 to 86. Later, he served as the Vice President of the NYC from 1994 to 1997. He resigned from the party in 1997 and successfully contested as an independent candidate from the 35th Zonopoto Assembly constituency in the 9th general election in 1998. Shri C. Noklem Konyak. Shri Noklem Konyak, a former member of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, passed away on 8th of March 2020 in Dimapur after a prolonged illness. Late Noklem, son of late Shri Chingkam Konyak of Wangti village, Mon district, was born on 2nd of October 1948. He studied at the Government High School, Chen. Late Noklem served as the Secretary of the Konyak Students' Conference from 1978 to 1980. He also served as the Secretary, Games and Sports of Chen Area Students' Union from 1976 to 1979. He was the President of the Students' Union of Wangti Village of Mon District from 1969 to 1979. He was also a member of the Area Council from August 1979 to November 1980. He represented the Games and Sports of Mon District as captain during the inter-district tournaments from 1976 to 1981. He entered active politics during the 1982 general election by successfully contesting from the 45 Tihok Assembly constituency and was soon thereafter appointed as the Minister of State for Education, Printing and Stationery. He was re-elected from the same constituency in the general election of 1989 on the Congress I ticket and was appointed as a Minister of State. Late Noklem was a dedicated leader who always looked after the welfare of his people. He died at the age of 71 and is survived by his wife, 5 sons, 1 daughter, and a host of admirers. On his death, the people of Nagaland in general and the Konyak community in particular have lost a sincere and generous leader. The void created by his demise will be difficult to fill. Late Dr. T. Mingtongo Lota. Dr. T. Mingtongo Lota, a former member of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, passed away on 26th March 2020 after a brief illness. Late T. Mingtongo Lota, son of late Chongsumo Izong of Longsa village, Woka district, was born on 1st of March 1952. He did his matriculation from the Government High School, Woka, in 1968 and his pre-university from St. Anthony's College, Shillong in 1969. He completed his MBBS from Dibrugarh Medical College in 1977 and went on to do his diploma in maternity and child welfare from the All India Institute of Public Health, Kolkata in 1982. As a student, he was involved in various student and social activities. He served as a president of the NAGA Students Union, Assam Medical College in 1974, secretary of the NAGA Students Union Dibrugarh in 1975, president of the Student Christian Movement, Assam Medical College in 1975, Peace Mission member, Naga Hobo in 1996, executive member, Lota Hobo from 1994 to 2003, and as the chairman of the Political Affairs Committee from 2009 to 2012. He joined the government service as an assistant surgeon, Nagaland Health Service Civil Hospital, Woka in 1977. Later, he served as a junior specialist SDMO, Nagaland Health Service from 1983 until 1986, when he was promoted as an assistant civil surgeon, Nagaland Health Service, Twingsa. He entered active politics by contesting in the 6th general election in November 1987 as the NNDP candidate from 38 Woka Assembly constituency, but lost. He recontested from the same constituency on the Naga People's Council party ticket in the 7th general election held in January 1989 and was elected and subsequently appointed as the Minister for Housing and Fire Services. He contested again from the same constituency as an independent candidate in the 9th general elections in 1993 but lost. He contested in the 10th general election in 2003 as the BJP candidate from the same constituency and being successful was appointed as the Minister for Home and Medical. He recontested in the 11th general elections in 2008 as the BJP candidate from the same constituency but was unsuccessful. In February 2013, he successfully contested in the general election to the 12th Nagaland Legislative Assembly on the NCP ticket from the same constituency. He died at the age of 68 and is survived by his wife, Srimati Malo Izong, 5 sons and 1 daughter. On his death, the people of Nagaland in general and the Lota community in particular have lost a humble and earnest leader who remained committed to serving his people always. Late Reverend Lusuhe Masi. Reverend Lusuhe Masi, a former member of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, passed away on 15th April 2020 at Oking Hospital, Kohima. Late Reverend Masi was from Rusoma village, Kohima district. He had served as a teacher in 1955 and also as the president of the Angami Tribal Council in the 1950s. He successfully contested in the first general election to the Nagaland Legislative Assembly in January 1964 from the Northern Angami 2 constituency on the Democratic Party ticket and was a member until 8 December 1964, when all the members of the Democratic Party resigned en bloc. He resigned from politics and served in the church ministry from 1966 onwards. He also served as the secretary of the Nagaland Peace Council in 1974. Thereafter, he served as the pastor of Rusoma Christian Revival Church, Late Reverend Masi was a selfless and humble social activist who contributed immensely to the society and was a spiritual leader to many. Although his political career was short-lived, he was a Naga patriot who committed his life for the common well-being of the Naga people. He died at the age of 98. In his demise, the Nagas have lost an irreplaceable noble soul whose absence will be greatly felt by many. Late Engineer Swalamba. Engineer Swalamba, a former member of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, passed away on 14th of June 2020. Late Swalamba, son of late Nokinkatpa of Chandongya village, Mokokchong district, was born on 1st of August 1942. He did his matriculation from the Government High School Mokokchong and his intermediate schooling in science from Guwahati. He then pursued his diploma in civil engineering from the State Board of Assam Technical Education. When he was a student, he served as the Joint Secretary of the All Assam Engineering Students Association from 1961 to 1963. He entered government service in 1964 and served as an overseer grade 1 in the PWT till 1972, as SDO from 1973 to 1982, as executive engineer from 1983 to 1992, and retired on 30th of September 1992. He was an active member of the Indian Road Congress from 1975 to 1979. He joined active politics right after retirement and contested in the 8th general elections held in February 1993 on the Congressite ticket from 22 Arkakom constituency and was elected to the 8th Nagaland Legislative Assembly. He died at the age of 77 and is survived by his wife, one son, and one daughter. Late Swalamba was a man of integrity who sincerely worked for the people of Nagaland. On his death, the Nagas in general and the Ao community in particular have lost a dedicated and upright leader, and the void created will be difficult to fill. Honorable members, the House will now observe 2-minute silence to pay our respect to the departed leaders.
Communications from the Office of the Honorable Governor conveying the Honorable Governor's accent to the following bills passed by this Assembly at this previous session. The Nagaland Appropriation Number 1 Bill 2020, the Nagaland Appropriation Number 2 Bill 2020, the Nagaland Agricultural Produce and Livestock Marketing, Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020, Northeast Christian University First Amendment Bill 2020, and the Nagaland Goods and Services Tax Amendment Bill 2019.
Also make a statement on the COVID-19 situation in the state. Since the declaration of COVID-19 pandemic by World Health Organization on 11 March 2020, we have come a long way. The entire world, including our state, were taken by surprise and has crippled our lives for the past 5 to 6 months, which is turning out to be one of the biggest health and socio-economic crises of our times. Since January 2020, the department started screening and monitoring of air passengers with history travel to China and affected countries. So far, a total of 4,08,812 travelers by year, railways and roadways have been screened. To prevent the spread of the virus. 261 quarantine facilities were put in place. The total number of returnees both in quarantine centers is 21,617. Currently, 2,99,000 persons, including 115 frontline workers, are in quarantine centers. Further, a total of 23,221 persons were put under home quarantine, and presently 3,243 persons are under home quarantine. With decreasing returnees, the quarantine facilities are now in the process of scaling down. Speaker, sir, we had zero capacity to test COVID-19 in our state. Today, we have been able to set up and make functional 2 biosafety laboratories, PSL3 laboratory, and Kohima NAGA Hospital, which was commissioned on 21st May 2020, and PSL2 laboratory and CIHSR Timabo on 27 June 2020. Another PSL2 laboratory is being set up at District Hospital Pinsang, which is expected to be commissioned by the end of August 2020. Mr. Speaker, sir, the state has a total of 29 TrueNet missions, which includes 3 TrueNet missions provided by the Ministry, Government of India, and 6 missions donated by honorable legislatures and civil societies of the state. Now we have a capacity to test over 1,200 samples per day. Additionally, rapid antigen detection tests are also now made available for COVID-19 testing. To meet the demand of unfolding challenges, private hospitals and laboratories have been permitted for COVID-19 testing by TrueNet as well as by rapid antigen detection test as per the ministry guidelines. Speaker, sir, the first COVID-19 case in India was reported on 30 January 2020. On April 12, a patient from Nagaland was reported to be tested positive in Assam. On 25th May 2020, the first 3 positive cases in Nagaland were detected among the returnees from Chennai. So far, a total of 48,901 samples were tested, out of which 28,555 samples were tested with PSL lab, RT-PCR, and 20,344 44 with TrueNet vision. The state has tested 38,630.
So it is very unfortunate that the opposition party decided to boycott this sixth session of the 13th Assembly. Though they are not present, I am happy that Honorable Minister for Health and Family Welfare made a statement and elaborately explained the situation and the measures taken up of this coronavirus, COVID-19 pandemic. Sir, COVID-19 pandemic has swept the world, including our country. In the last 6 months, infecting millions of people and causing thousands of deaths. Our state, like the rest of the country, has also been affected. However, by the grace of God, Nagaland remains relatively free from the coronavirus in the initial phase, giving us precious time to prepare ourselves. As of today, and according to the tweet and the newspaper, we have 3,118 positive cases. And it is pertinent to note that out of which 1,427 are from the armed forces, 1,115 from returnees, 319 from the contact tracing, and 203 from the frontline workers. So far, there are no cases where we cannot trace the source, and hence the health department is of the view, as stated by the minister in charge also, that there is no community transmission in Nagaland. Though we have started preventive and preparatory measures from January onward, we went into a full disaster management mode from 18 March 2020, when the provisions of Disaster Management Act 2005 were invoked in the state. Since then, our frontline workers, doctors and nurses, is working in close coordination with tribal hosts, mass-based civil societies, organizations, church organizations, and countless volunteers who are giving their invaluable services to handle the crisis. And not forgetting the donors who have responded to contribution in kind or in cash to the state. I thank all of them. In fact, the robust response to this challenge by our people once again proves the effectiveness of our community spirit and strength. It also gives us hope that no challenge is big enough when the people resolve to act with unity of purpose. Speaker, sir, as mentioned, Minister in charge of Health and Family Welfare, Mr. Pangyu, has elaborately explained, and we have focused on our attention improving and upgrading the health infrastructure, as well as creating and running quarantine centers all over the state, creating COVID hospital, COVID care centers. We have not only created sufficient testing capacities, within the state in record time. We have also substantially augmented the number of doctors, nurses, and other medical personnel, besides roping in private hospitals to implement the government efforts in dealing with the crisis. So we are a revenue deficit state. We do not have enough resources, but this has not stopped us from doing whatever we could do for taking all possible steps to combat COVID-19 and to keep our people safe, for improving our medical infrastructure and putting in place systems, equipments, and manpower for winning the battle against the pandemic. We have spent more than 62 crores, and out of these assistance that we have got from Government of India and other resources is only about 10 crores. The remaining, about 52 crores, is all from the state-owned resources. Getting resources have been taught, giving our overall constraint and reducing into the revenue due to pandemic and lockdown. We have taken several measures to mobilize additional revenue. We cut down non-essential expenditures by 15% and also introduced the additional revenue by levying COVID cess, 5 rupees and 6 rupees per litre for diesel and petrol. Sir, you are aware, public also had said that we should withdraw, but all over the state, the crisis came very heavily, particularly with lockdown. The economic effect is huge, and a resource-crunch states like ours, the only tax we can impose besides GST is on petroleum products. And at this point of time, like a state like Haryana government introduced the tax hike on 30th April 2020. Delhi government VAT increased on 6th May 2020. Odisha government VAT enhanced from May 17. Gujarat enhanced from March 2020. Maharashtra VAT on 1st June 2020. And Nagaland cess was also introduced during that period in the month of May. Sir, all enhanced, and many states are much higher than our northeastern states and particularly Nagaland. Today, in the month of July, all the northern states, the prices has gone up more than 80 rupees. Particularly in Assam and Nagaland, when we make a comparison, we still have the comfort of petrol price less by 2.31 and diesels by 0.73 paise. This we had to maintain, and all the northeastern states now remains around 80 plus, say 84 and 85. Some paisa differences only, but we remain one of the lowest.